As the regular season fades into the postseason, It's time to find out who will become a champion in the Challenger Cup Series. The first of two seasons in 2026. 10 of Challenger's best are ready to compete over the next 5 weeks to determine who will walk out of Sonoma a champion in this series, whether for another time or for their first time. Ryan Patty has been the dominant man all year long up to this point. He had over a 100-point lead coming into this postseason, but that lead is wiped out. Things have zeroed out, and it's time now for a 5-race winner-take-all chase format to find out who will raise the championship trophy at the end of the season. It's the Challenger Cup Series chase for the Challenger Cup, and it starts tonight in Music City. Welcome to Nashville, and welcome to the postseason. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the PGR eSports broadcast booth for tonight's coverage of Challenger Cup Series action from Nashville Superspeedway. My name is Dawson Wise. Happy to have you with us for action tonight from Nashville as race one of the chase gets underway. 140 laps on tap for these drivers as we find out who will put themselves in position to be the championship favorite headed onto the Irish Hills of Michigan next week. Again, if you've missed most of this regular season, Ryan Patty has been the man to beat, and there is no dispute in that. Over a 100-point lead at the end of the regular season, 6 wins on his resume coming into tonight. Looking to add more wins to that resume and a championship when all is said and done. But there are 9 other drivers that want to dethrone him starting tonight, and we will look forward to see what they can do. Will there be twists? Will there be turns? You heard all of the guys talk about it last week that we got to talk to. They did not want to be a part of the twists and turns of the chase. The lights come on, the sun has gone down, and that means that it is time to get down trackside for racing action at Nashville as we prepare for chase racing here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Without further ado, let's get down trackside and get down to business. It's the chase for the Challenger Cup, and it starts tonight here in Music City. And it all starts with tonight's starting grid. The drivers that will start tonight's 140-lapper from Nashville Superspeedway. On the pole, by virtue of his quick time in the qualifying session, James Catrone. In the Oscar Mayer Chevrolet, he is postseason racing again this season and looking to make an impact coming into tonight. And with everything zeroing out, a big opportunity for him to potentially get off on the right foot. Harold Watkins will start alongside him in the second spot. The Hurricane, rocking the Hurricane colors again tonight, will go from the outside of row number 1, looking to defend his 2025 Season 2 championship. Row 2 features one of the rookie phenoms in Clinton Woodby, a winner multiple times this season at Daytona and Talladega, looks to add another win to his resume in his first postseason here in the Challenger Cup Series. He'll start from third tonight alongside Rusty Modesty in car number 6 as he comes in looking for his first win of the season, his first win since last July at Daytona, which would put him on the right foot for the championship as well. Back on row number 3, it is Ryan Patty, the man who won the regular season championship. That regular season lead is gone, and he has to do it all well for the next 5 weeks if he is going to win a championship and put an exclamation point on what has been a phenomenal season for him to this point. It'll be the Oakley Chevy of Matt Hayden. You see the black and gold back aboard that car. There it shows the Kellogg's colors, but you see him on the right side of your screen, black and gold back aboard the 5 as he looks to win a championship for himself. Row 4, another playoff driver, Andrew Little in the 68, the Waterford Concept Chevrolet. Came into tonight not getting a victory lane like he wanted to as many times this season, but still as consistent as ever. He'll roll from 7th tonight. It's Kevin Gunther alongside him in the 8th position. And row 5 going to be Cody Eldred in the 14, another one of our chase drivers alongside the Miller Lite Camry of Greg Bourbonier. Row 6, Harold Rothery in the bright green number 1, and Ron Walters in the Whitewater 99. They'll go from 11th and 12th. Back on row 7, it's Chaz Justice and Bill Gartner, the all-purple 67 and the Red Bull 26. Back on row 8, it's Fisher Graham making his Challenger Cup Series debut tonight from 15th in this first chase race, and Brandon Beauchamp will start from 16th. Row 9 going to be Steven Rasick and another one of the rookie phenoms, a brand new look for him tonight, a black teal and a white Toyota Camry for David Traylor. He'll have some work to do, though, starting from 18th. And in the 19th spot, it is Brian Cunningham that will go from there. The regular season is over. Everything you did to get to this point, it doesn't matter anymore. And for 10 of Challenger's best, it's time to start anew. The chase for the Challenger Cup is underway as they work into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Let's go postseason racing in Nashville. Lap 1 complete, lap 2 on the board, and you already see drivers struggling with corner entry. I did not get a chance to mention this at the top of the show, but there is 110% horsepower tonight, the same as with Dover a few weeks back in the All-Star race. If you'll remember that race, drivers struggled with grip, they struggled with restarts. Tonight, sure to be more of the same on this flat, tough, concrete oval, 10% horsepower boost in these Gen 7 race cars tonight. So far, though, so good, more so than Dover, where we had a couple of restart incidents to start the night. So far, so good tonight, already 3 laps in. Catrone continues to lead. Woodby got all the way to second, with Ryan Patty moving up to third from his 5th place starting spot. Harold Watkins, you saw him go wide in turn 1. He has fallen to 4th, but he's settled in there. Right in front of Rusty Modesty. Andrew Little +1. Further back, Rothery +1. Justice +2. Gartner +2. Beauchamp +1. And Trailer +2. To the inside, Patty on Woodby. And no surprises here. Watkins and Patty, the top 2 in practice times, are going to both go by Clinton Woodby there in turn 1. Woodby crosses over on Watkins, tries to get back to the inside. That'll be the battle for the 3rd spot. As they battle, Woodby actually will now fall in line. And now Patty can set his sights on the leader, James Catrone. So for now, everything has settled out. Further back, Andrew Little under attack. This is from Matt Hayden. That would be for 6th. But nothing doing there for the Oakley Chevrolet right now. Keep an eye further back on David Trailer and his progress. I'm going to let you know the drivers to watch that are in the chase. I said last week, and this is my fault completely, that we would have 16 drivers. It is only 10. So remember the conversations last week about the cut line. That was not actually the cut line. Here are the drivers that are in the chase as of tonight. James Catrone leads the race. Ryan Patty in 2nd. Harold Watkins 3rd. Clinton Woodby 4th. Rusty Modesty 5th. The chase drivers go all the way back to 8th place Cody Eldred. So Catrone, Patty, Watkins, Woodby, Modesty, Little, Hayden, Eldred. And then after that, you'll find David Trailer and Greg Bourbonier are the last 2 cars in those points positions. Bourbonier runs 13th. Trailer runs 16th as they go right now on the speedway. That's the 10 drivers that are competing for the championship. So apologies last week. I had it a little bit wrong in terms of how many drivers made the chase. It is only 10 coming into tonight. And those are your 10. All of the top 8 are postseason cars right now. And that leads me to my point to start this race. And it was something I was going to talk about pretty early on as Ryan Patty hounds James Catrone for the lead. Saw Catrone push tight just a little bit in turns 1 and 2. Patty's on the move. Watkins is on the move as well. But something I wanted to talk about pretty early on in this race, every point in these races is going to matter. These are not huge fields. Here's Patty to the inside, all the way to the apron. The Fast House Chevy to the inside. And the regular season champ wants to lead. Catrone runs him deep into turn 1. Maybe a little contact there between those 2 cars. Catrone up out of the group trying to defend the lead down the back straightaway. He'll get back alongside Ryan Petty. That brings Harold Watkins to the conversation. It'll bring Clinton Woodby to the conversation. Trouble! Catrone gets turned just a little bit. Has to save the car. Does so on the banking of turns 3 and 4, but loses the lead in the process, and now Patty walks away. So Ryan Patty and Harold Watkins going to walk away 1 and 2. But anyways, every point matters coming into tonight, and that includes stage points that will still be given out over the course of these 5 chase races. Every point is going to matter just a little bit more because these are not huge fields. There's not a lot of points that can be gained every week, especially knowing that stage points are given out. It's going to be very tough to maximize your points tonight, so you have got to be on your game and get every point that you can if you're going to go to Sonoma in 4 weeks and win a championship. So 10 laps in, 24 to go in stage 1. The conclusion of lap 33, by the way, is the conclusion of our only stage of the night. Patty continues to lead by about 0.2 of a second, about 3 or 4 car lengths over Harold Watkins, who has maintained pace for now. James Catrone continues to hold on to third. He's doing a masterful job defending as Clinton Woodby's going the wrong way. Rusty Modesty's up to fourth. Andrew Little and Matt Hayden have introduced themselves to the party for this spot as well. Clinton Woodby is going the wrong way and doing so quickly. Trying to make all he can of this defensive job back here. He's already dropped back to sixth as Andrew Little goes by. Matt Hayden's going to try to follow him through. And Clinton Woodby, this is not the start to his chase that he wanted. As he goes backwards and is on the back foot early in this one, lap 11. Going to continues to be Patty, then Watkins, then a gap back to Catrone, then Modesty, Woodby, and Little battle for fifth. Actually, Little has ceded that spot now. Matt Hayden's attacking him for sixth. Cody Eldred coming into this. Kevin Gunther coming into this. Chaz Justice not too far back either. David Traylor's up 3. He's up to 15. Likely that he will not get into a stage points position. Not sure what the issue was in qualifying for David Traylor if he was not able to run a lap for whatever reason, but behind the 8 ball early for the driver of the 54. Of course, the winner at Charlotte last week was David Traylor, his third win of his rookie campaign. Wins at Atlanta, Martinsville, and Charlotte on the year for him. He's got work to do tonight, though. Dirty air not helping him much back there in the 15th position right now. He'll have to use some strategy later in the race to get back up here. Clinton Woodby has fended off the Hornet's Nest behind him. That is for fifth. Rusty Modesty got away from him a little bit. James Catrone has settled nicely into the third spot. Battle for the lead is not yet materialized. Watkins continues to keep about arm's length with Ryan Patty as they run right now. 20 laps to go in stage one. And again, Harold Watkins just continues to be close. Will not let Patty get away. But he's not close enough to make anything happen. So just 18 to go with the line. It's Ryan Patty has opened up about a 4/10 lead over Harold Watkins and the rest of the field. This battle on track's the one you're watching. This is for sixth, although we might have a battle for the fourth position brewing as well. Clinton Woodby, well, he was getting close. Matt Hayden closing in on Andrew Little, though that would be for sixth. And then, of course, both of these cars would like to catch Clinton Woodby and gain a point. Ryan Patty would like to open up a little points lead here early in this one. Kevin Gunther tries to get on the move from the 9th spot, the winner from Bristol back in the month of April. That'll lead up to 7/10. So after about 17 laps on the tires, Ryan Patty has really started to walk away from the rest of the field here tonight. His last lap was his best of the race, a 29.79 for the leader, and he was 0.2 faster than everyone else on track. And meanwhile, just ahead of this battle that we were just watching, Clinton Woodby back to the inside of Rusty Modesty. He'll grab the 4th spot and put himself in position to gain a couple stage points. And again, every point so important. And for Clinton Woodby in his rookie campaign to get off to this kind of start in the opening race of the chase, such a big deal. If he could run down Catrone for third, I think you could check this first stage off as a success. He had a moment there in the middle portions of the stage where he was going the wrong way, but now has seemingly found his footing again and is in position to have a really good stage one again. With just 5 races in the chase, knowing some of the tracks we have coming up, Twin Ring Motegi is on the schedule here in the chase. Of course, Sonoma is our championship race. Michigan is wide open next week. So knowing what we have ahead, trip to Pocono as well. Knowing what we have ahead, every point is such a big deal because of how tough these tracks are, how easy it will be to make a mistake. Lead is back down to 4/10 for Ryan Patty, by the way. Well, now it opens back up to about 5/10, but Harold Watkins is gaining some of that back. Lap times have evened out. In fact, Watkins was 1/10.5 faster the last time around. Clinton Woodby was actually the fastest car on the racetrack. We're slowly working to a battle for the third spot. We're going to keep it here with Catrone, Woodby, Modesty, and company, as this is going to be the best battle on the racetrack right now. By the way, David Traylor has lost another spot. He's dropped back to 16th. Not the start. His first postseason race as a part of this series that he wanted. But a long way to go to make it up. 120 laps still to go in this race. Battle for third is continuing to develop. Here comes Clinton Woodby. The rookie wants another stage point. Put him third in the standings, leaving stage one. As he closes right at the back bumper of the 38. A battle, by the way, for the last stage point is brewing. As Rusty Modesty falls into the clutches of Andrew Little and Matt Hayden. We'll keep it here, though. Battle for third. Woodby on the inside, Catrone on the outside. As these two cars will go after it. Catrone, typical defensive line, drives in a little bit too deep, though. Woodby trying to take advantage. A little bit loose off the corner. Again, more horsepower, more rear tire spin, but he's going to stay alongside James Catrone. Back down to turns 3 and 4. Again, Catrone runs in deep. Trying to play defense. It's been his blueprint all race long. This time Woodby so good through 3 and 4. Powers by on the inside. Can't quite make the pass. He's almost there. He's to the wheel well. Catrone will drive back even with him. Again, drive deep here into turn 1. And Clinton Woodby should complete the pass, if not right here over in turns 3 and 4, where he has been notedly better than a lot of guys running around him. Still side by side down the backstretch. By the way, Andrew Little just captured the 5th and final stage point paying position from Rusty Modesty, and actually Matt Hayden's going to make it 2 for 1 and get 6th. But with these guys side by side, all of a sudden Andrew Little says, I'm not too far out of this conversation. And maybe we'll have a 3-car battle for the third spot developing, because James Catrone all of a sudden has begun to play some really impressive defense. Woodby ran him down quickly, but using that top lane, pinching down, stealing away some clean air from Clinton Woodby, James Catrone has been able to play defense and fend off the charge of the 92. Woodby runs up a little bit. The patience starting to run a little bit thin. But he'll cede the spot for now and move Catrone back to the third spot. 8 laps to go in stage 1. So again, Catrone holds third. These guys have dropped nearly 5 seconds off the lead, by the way, and Watkins has actually dropped a second off of Ryan Patty. So it appears it's one of those nights that Ryan Patty might be in his own zip code. A long way to go in this race. But as these two, Woodby and Catrone, have focused on each other, Andrew Little and Matt Hayden have driven into this. Big slide there from Woodby off turn 4. He makes the save nonetheless. 6 laps to go, stage 1. This one has flown by. We're already going to be at the 33 lap mark. This race only 140 laps long. These guys running 30-second laps. So we continue to watch the battle for the third spot. Catrone pulls a little bit of distance now, and maybe it's Clinton Woodby on the defensive. Did he burn too much of his stuff up? Here comes Andrew Little to the inside, and all of a sudden Woodby goes from offense to defense. He'll drive in deep to turn 1. Little tries to throw the slider. Woodby pulls around the outside, but Little works up the racetrack. Woodby gets into marbles and has to get out of it. Move Andrew Little to 4th. Now Woodby going to be attacked for 5th and the final stage point spot. So going from 3 stage points potentially to none at all if Matt Hayden makes the pass. A little bit of dirty air across his nose there, though, but Woodby cannot turn that car off the corner. Matt Hayden right to the back bumper, and now the battle will be for 5th. Here's the Oakley Chevy to the inside. 4 laps to go in stage 1. Catrone is driven away from this battle just a little. He'll hold on likely to the third spot for the time being. And to the inside comes Matt Hayden, and this is the battle for the final stage point. Hayden drives deep into turn 3. Woodby not willing to drive quite as deep this time, though. Doesn't quite get as far up into the marbles. Holds alongside Matt Hayden and keeps his foot in it. 3 laps to go, stage 1. Hayden, big drive into turn 1, trying to make it happen on the slider. Would-be trying to hold it alongside him on the outside. It's a little bit too high maybe in 1 and 2, but again, finds that sweet spot and stays alongside him. This continues to be the battle for the last stage point. Lead has opened up for Ryan Patty by almost 1.3 seconds. Would-be on the outside trying to play defense. Hayden on the inside trying to get a stage point. Would-be had to get his foot out of it. Hayden spins the car. Matt Hayden through the grass. The first chase driver to have misfortune is Matt Hayden in the 5 as he takes a trip through the infield grass. He makes the save and saves his race car, but he'll lose out on any hope of any stage points as he lost that spot, and Would-be's able to now drive away. And for his hopes, perhaps take a deep breath. Now the battle is on for third. Here's literally inside. 1 to go, stage 1. Almost some contact there. May have been some contact between the 38 and the 68. They work up the banking of turn 1. Catrone on the outside, got in the marbles. Little drives by on the inside, puts his foot in it and says, see you later. So Andrew Little comes on late. Grabs some late run speed. On par, by the way, with the leader, Ryan Patty. Come off turn 4 and capture the 3rd spot. As they come by the line, the caution flag should be displayed. There it is. As Ryan Patty wins a fast and furious stage 1. Not much misfortune other than the Matt Hayden incident a moment ago. He dropped all the way to 12th position. Caution flag is out for the stage. Ryan Patty leads almost wire to wire. Harold Watkins, Andrew Little, James Catrone, and Clinton Would-be the 5 to capture stage points here in stage 1. With that being said, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back for the conclusion from Nashville Superspeedway. It's the chase for the Challenger Cup. You're watching PGR eSports.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by 3. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. Hard into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, the monkey is prime!
This season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time! Oh, that's good.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Welcome back to Nashville Super Speedway and the opening race of the 2026 Chase for the Challenger Cup here in this first of 2 seasons in 2026. Of course, again, Challenger Cup Series separated into 2 different seasons every year. This year is no different as the series enters the final 5 races of this initial 19-race season. And then no off week after Season 1. Season 2 begins the week after in Chicagoland when we crown a champion in Sonoma. Ryan Patty was first on pit road. He was first off pit road. He'll lead the field back into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Does everybody get on it okay? It does seem that way. A little bit loose. But everybody seems to be, to a degree, okay. Did want to let you know, on the caution flag coming to the stage, Rusty Modesty tried to come to pit road. In doing so, he has lost a lap as a part of the scoring cycle from iRacing. He is now 1 lap down, scored dead last in 19th. Some more adversity for one of the drivers in the chase for the Challenger Cup in the form of Rusty Modesty. Patty away with the lead. Woodby around the outside rim rides and gets third back from Andrew Little, so move him to the 3rd position. By the way, a slow stop for James Catrone puts him back in 13th, although he is already up to the 12th spot. David Traylor continues to struggle back in 16th, so a few of our chase drivers starting to experience a little bit of adversity. I can tell you one man who's not experienced any yet, and that's Ryan Patty. I said last year Ryan Patty would probably be a championship contender in this league if he came back for a full-time season, and that is what he has done. And in his starts this season, he has certainly not wasted any time. 6 wins over the course of this season. 11 top 5s, 14 top 10s. Harold Watkins just got the wall from second. 11 top 5s, 14 top 10s, 6 of those top 5s wins for Ryan Patty. 8 stage wins in 14 total starts. 118 stage points in those races. And was towards the bottom of the board in terms of incident points as well. So sometimes they say you got to be clean to be fast. Well, for Ryan Patty, he's clean and fast. And that's been the secret to success this year. Again, 6 wins on the season, including 3 in a row a few weeks back. He got the wall right there, though, in a big way. Kevin Gunther was going for 4th on Andrew Little, and all of a sudden, the battle for the lead, the leaders made a mistake. Ryan Patty, his first mistake of the night. Harold Watkins trying to take advantage. They'll run door to door. This is close quarters. Remember, any mistakes in these races can add up. Here comes Clinton Woodby into the fight as well. 99 to go at the line. They're going to lean on each other in turn 3. Big drive through the center for Patty, but Watkins hangs onto the right rear, trying to stick it, trying to keep his foot in it, can't do it, and move Patty back to the lead. A brief mistake for Ryan Patty, and result still the same. He drives back to the race lead for now. Kevin Gunther's up to 5th, by the way. Just did mention that just barely before all that happened with Patty up front. Greg Bourbonier, by the way, is up to 8th position. James Catrone has already driven back from 13th to 9th. David Traylor, by the way, just drove up to the 11th spot, so keep an eye on the 54. He's starting to figure something out here in Stage 2. 97 to go at the line. Ryan Patty continues to lead the way. Watkins under attack from Clinton Woodby for 2nd. Continue to keep an eye on this battle for now. Andrew Little runs 4th. Gunther is 5th. Then Hayden, who is all the way back to 6th, although he just popped the wall off turn 4. He's going to lose that spot to Cody Eldred, so move Hayden back to 7th. Bourbonier 8th. Catrone 9th. Gartner 10th. And then again, David Traylor has just driven past Bill Gartner. 54 enters the top 10 for the first time tonight. Seen this at times this year with different drivers where for a lot of the night just is not going their way and they're able to scrap something out of it. David Traylor is working towards that right now. He is finding some speed the mid portions of this race, trying to dig out of a hole so that by the time we go to the Irish Hills next week, the hole is not too large to dig out of. So far, a good recovery for David Traylor. Patty continues to lead, but Harold Watkins is keeping things relatively close. So is Clinton Woodby from the 3rd position. As we just have 94 laps to go. Already at the 1/3 mark of this race. I said the stage break a few moments ago. Already approaching the 50 lap mark. This one is going by quickly. Again, 30-second lap times. Obviously, it was never going to be a very long race tonight, but nonetheless. So it's still going by quickly. Patty's opened up a half-second lead over Watkins and the rest of the field. Not a whole lot going on right now. Again, Rusty Modesty continues to be off the lead lap. He will have to have a caution. With no other stage break in this race, he'll have to have a caution flag at some point to get back on the lead lap and salvage something tonight. If not, that is a devastating first race to his 2026 chase here in Season 1. He's unable to get back on the lead lap, credited with 18th position at the race ended right now. Did not get any stage points either. It would almost be too big a hole to dig out of with only 4 races to go. Knowing the speed that the championship contenders have, you'd have to have some help from some misfortune from some of the guys up towards the front of the field. Brandon Beauchamp makes a pass on a couple of cars, Walters and Gartner. Matt Hayden makes a pass on Cody Eldred. This is for 6th. So move Hayden back into the top 6. The first time since his slide just a little while ago. David Traylor continues to gain delta on the Catrone and Bourbon Air machines to potentially get a couple more spots. Again, this could be a very, very important recovery for David Traylor if he is able to get a couple of more spots, get a couple of things to go his way. He could really recover nicely tonight. End up with a good finish heading forward to Michigan next week. Up ahead of them, Andrew Little and Kevin Gunther have been putting on a bit of a show. Gunther has stayed with Andrew Little this entire run. He's hounded him. They both now start to hound Clinton Woodby for 3rd. Three laps in, just 18 laps short of halfway home if you're just joining us. The 2026 Chase for the Challenger Cup. One of the 2 postseasons we'll have this year in this series. Starts tonight with a race in Music City. Just down the road from me. One of my home tracks. Is the host site for the opener tonight. 110% horsepower underneath these Gen 7 race cars. It's not yet been a super notable struggle for the drivers, at least towards the front of the field. But it is a storyline to keep an eye on nonetheless. Back to the comeback story that we keep keeping an eye on, and that is David Traylor as his drive forward continues. He has caught James Catrone. Trying to get himself an extra spot here, maybe a couple of spots before we get to our first round of green flag pit stops. By the way, the fuel range tonight, just 50% of the norm. So we would anticipate that we have at least 2 pit stops to go. Catrone runs way up in the marbles there off turn 4, has to get way out of the gas. And David Traylor drives by him. So move Traylor to the 9th position. Greg Rubinair next on his radar for another potential pass. And Really good stuff there for David Traylor, who continues his drive forward. Ryan Patty continues to lead, although his lead has not grown quite yet on this run, still sitting about between 5 and 6/10 of a second. Woodby and Andrew Little probably going to have a battle here in a moment. Little is running Woodby down again, similar to stage 1. Brian Cunningham goes 3 laps down in the red 32, just ahead of these guys up the road. Woodby has to enter on the outside as Andrew Little continues to run him down. Just 82 laps to go here in Nashville. The battle for third really starts to materialize now. Again, Harold Watkins has kept it close, but he's going to have to do something on pit road, I think, to have any chance of winning this race. He'll have to break the pit strategy open here in just a little bit. Pit early and undercut, perhaps. Try to get ahead of Ryan Patty and just hang on for dear life. As David Traylor did last week at Charlotte, if you remember back. While it wasn't exactly the same scenario, David Traylor got out front of Ryan Patty on a late restart and stayed there. Was able to manipulate the air and make life hard on the regular season champ and not allow him to get back to the lead, and he ended up pulling away to win. So it could absolutely happen. For Watkins, he'll need to undercut likely on pit road. Of course, Harold Watkins still racing for a championship too. You'd like to win, but Watkins not going to do anything too brash to get himself a penalty or make him make a mistake. He still would like to maximize points tonight. This for third. Little underneath. Woodby crosses over right in the back of the 68. Almost got him a little bit out of shape. Move Andrew Little to third. Kevin Gunther and Matt Hayden have arrived on the scene. And now they will take a shot potentially at Clint Woodby here. By the way, David Traylor slowly catching both Bourbonier and Cody Eldred. Potential drive all the way to the 7th spot in the cards for Traylor, at least on this run. Gunther to the inside of Woodby. This would be for 4th. Not quite off the corner here. Hayden going to go with the 31 of Gunther. Does he try 3 wide potentially into turn 1? Woodby backs out of the throttle, gives up the spot to both of them. He'll go from 4th to 6th. Hayden around the outside, trying to get there on Gunther. Has to lift just a little. Going to have to get out of the gas. Woodby sees both of them, tries to go underneath 3 wide. Thinks better of it, jumps back in line. Hayden ends up with the spot after all that, move him to 4th. Meanwhile, back to the David Traylor show. He works off turn 4. Going to try not to use the lap car as a pick there with Cunningham up against the outside wall. Traylor has the outside lane. He'll try to use it to his advantage here in turn 1 and drive forward to 8th. How about it? Plus 10 for David Traylor tonight. Making something out of nothing. Has to lift a little bit there off turn 2, but now can chase down Cody Eldred, and that would be for 7th. Again, making something out of nothing in the postseason is so important. Although he'll have Bourbonier alongside him there for a moment off turn 4. Just 76 to go. Again, already about 5 laps short of halfway, and Harold Watkins continues to trail Ryan Patty. It's been about the same gap between 6 and 7/10 of a second. Occasionally dipping under the 6/10 mark. Watkins has not been able to get much closer than that, whether by choice or otherwise. So off turn 4, we continue to watch David Traylor, and that's because his comeback continues, and he is slowly reeling in Cody Eldred, and Clinton Woodby would not be too far out of the conversation here as well, so it's potential. And David Traylor could drive all the way to 6th by the time this race is over, if not further than that. Of course, still some green flag pit stops have to be made, mistakes, penalties, potential chaos later in the race could put Traylor in a spot to run even higher than that. And that would be, considering how this race started for David Traylor and how tough it was to get to this point, it would be a smashing success if he could somehow pull off a top 5 out of this. But for now, continues to run in the 8th position just behind Cody Eldred. We'll continue to watch the delta here. We're watching the delta between Andrew Little and Matt Hayden. That has started to close up as well. Matt Hayden has got some late run speed on board his Oakley Chevrolet. I'll tell you what, there's a yellow sign in the backstretch. Well, I'll point it out next time we come around. It has thrown me off all race, thinking that the caution flag is out. It's a blinking yellow light, and it's not. I'll show it to you again here when these cars roll down the backstretch. Again, this trailer continues to reel in the Eldred machine. Watch this yellow sign, not that one. It's at the other end of the back straightaway. It's right down here. It's going to pop on your screen. It's a couple of those right there between Cracker Barrel and DeWalt. Makes me think the caution lights are on. We've gone to the caution flag, but we are not. Pit stop's underway right at the halfway mark. Harold Watkins does undercut Ryan Patty. He's the first to come to pit road. Matt Hayden and Chaz Justice will join him on the pit lane as the green flag cycle starts on lap 70. So we now know we went back green around lap 38. It would be very, very close as to whether or not they could make it on one more stop after this, at least for the guys that pit here. Watkins, Hayden, Justice, Beauchamp, and Fisher Graham are the cars that are going to do so. Kevin Gunther's coming to pit road. David Traylor, Greg Bourbonier also coming to pit road. Harold Rothery, or rather Rusty Modesty, coming to pit road. So is Rothery. So that leaves on the racetrack Patty, Little, Woodby, Eldred, Catrone, Walters, Gartner, and Rasick as the cars that have not come to pit road yet. The leader, Ryan Patty, is going to run at least one more on the racetrack. He did just run a 29.97, so not a lot of fall off for Patty. There's a 30.06, so not horrible lap times either. Andrew Little's on pit road this time around on lap 72. Just past the halfway mark at the Nashville Super Speedway. And now the leader will come to pit road as Ryan Patty makes his pit stop. Cody Eldred, Clinton Woodby are going to join him on pit road. At least it appeared as if Clinton Woodby was going to, but he spun it into the grass. Clinton Woodby boots the pit entry. Another mistake for a chase driver. Catrone, Walters, Rasick also going to come off or come down pit road at the same time. Andrew Little actually came off very close to where Harold Watkins cycled out. But it was no cigar for holding him off as Watkins drives on by. Now we wait to see if Watkins beat Patty off pit road. He did not. Now he might get him on the undercut. It's going to be close. Patty already on the access road, already almost to the pit exit line. Here comes Watkins, and it's not going to be enough. Oh, Patty, big slide. Drive through the grass. There's another mistake. On the power, trying to get the throttle down. And Ryan Patty's behind the 8 ball now. Watkins drives away, and he's got a pretty sizable lead to boot. And a lap car between him and Patty now, the former Fisher Graham. By the way, Kevin Gunther had an issue on his pit stop as well. He has also gone one lap down. David Traylor has come back to pit road. Clinton Woodby has come back to pit road. Penalties for drivers on pit road. Traylor, Woodby, Gunther all lose a lap. 2 of those are chase drivers that are now not in the spot that they wanted to be in. And for Traylor, that is a gut punch. For Woodby, it is as well. Traylor had just gotten back up to about the 8th position before that pit stop and had maintained a really good comeback tonight. Now he is behind the 8 ball for Clinton Woodby. He had run inside the top 4 for much of tonight's race. And now he is 18th on the score sheet. So both rookies The veteran Rusty Modesty, not the night to open the chase for the Challenger Cup that those three wanted. Of course, we just noted the mistake that Ryan Patty made off pit road. And it sets up a very interesting final 65 laps here in Nashville. And that Ryan Patty now will have to try to run down Harold Watkins. Now, Watkins is stuck in the dirty air wake of Steven Rasick in front of him, the lead lap car. He's having to try to jump out of dirty air, and it is not working, and that is bringing Ryan Patty back to him. And actually doing it quickly. A lot of dirty air there in turns 3 and 4. Watkins has got to get on by. He will. And minimalizes the bleeding, but 0.8 of a second. The gap was 1.2 seconds a moment ago. Ryan Patty gets by Rasick. Andrew Little not too far back from this either, as they're now down to 63 to go. The target number to make it the rest of the way for the guys to pit on lap 70, that would include Harold Watkins and a couple of other cars that came to pit road immediately. They would need to make it to lap 105 on this second run to make it on less than 2 pit stops. To only have to make that one more pit stop, they'd have to make it to lap 105. For Ryan Patty and company, he pit a little while later than Watkins did. He would have to make it to around lap 107 or 108 to make it all the way, if not further than that. He might only have to go to 109 or 110 for it to be a safe bet. So keep an eye on when those guys want to come back to pit road. For now, Ryan Patty has cut 0.2 off the gap. It's now just half a second. And he is closing in quickly. But again, getting there is one thing. Passing is another for Ryan Patty. Another lap car just ahead. It is Bill Gartner. See if that affects Harold Watkins here in a moment. He's moved up the racetrack, by the way. Has to get way out of it there. And here comes Ryan Patty. The gap down to just 5 car lengths. 60 laps to go. Ryan Patty is closing in. Now down to just 0.2, down to just 3 car lengths. This is unreal from Ryan Patty. The lap times he's putting up right now are simply unbelievable. Last time by, he was 0.2 faster than Watkins. In fact, Andrew Little was faster than both of those cars. We'll see what that does this time. 29.89 for Andrew Little last time around. Last time by Patty, still faster. Little on par. Hayden on par. As Watkins gets by the lap car, Patty gets held up. A brief moment of help for Harold Watkins there. Only about 23 to go until Harold Watkins will need to pit. At least the target lap he's going to try to make it to. Any help he can get would be a huge thing for him, trying to hold on to as much of this lead as possible. Not let Ryan Patty get too far away before that last pit stop happens. He tries to pull the undercut again. It did not really work the first time. The lap time fall off has surely not been what these drivers and myself have thought it was going to be. 110% horsepower, flat track, rough surface, a tire model that punishes over aggression. I figured that tire fall off would be in the 1 second range. It's not been. Okay, we got drivers running 29s, 10 laps into a run, 15 laps into a run. And they have not even fallen into the 30-second bracket yet. So tire fall off has not really been what Watkins and company thought it was going to be. In terms of that undercut strategy, I'm just not sure it's going to be a good enough play to get him to victory lane unless he decides to gamble on the last stop. Take 2 tires, get it way out in front, and just try to maintain a lead all the way to the checkered flag. It'd be a risk, but knowing that really there's only been 3 or 4 cars in this zip code all night, perhaps a gamble that those guys are willing to take, or rather that Harold Watkins is willing to take. Although now, Watkins starts to drive away. Did Ryan Patty smoke the right side tires a little bit? He made the run through the grass when he came off pit road off turn 2 and slid. Did he slide those tires and potentially put some wear on them? Well, now he can't run the times that he would like to. In this first long extended green flag run of the night. Just 55 to go. By the way, we're closing in. Just 20 laps short of the final pit window opening. This one has gone by extremely fast. Only 9:25 here on the East Coast. Little blip there. Gotta love technology. We're back now. As Harold Watkins again continues to lead. 0.7 of a second is the lead over Ryan Patty, but it is growing here. Harold Watkins found something here on this pit stop, potentially. Or is Ryan Patty saving his stuff? Could be a little bit of both. Greg Bourbonnier cycled out 5th, by the way. How about the run for the Miller Lite Camry? We'll spotlight him for a moment. How about that? For the driver of the 00. He is in a top 5 position as they run right now. What a night it would be for him if he could grab a top 5 headed to Michigan next week. It would be a great start to his postseason. He could finish the job with a 5th place finish. Matt Hayden's been on par with the leaders in terms of times. He's just 6.5 plus seconds back. So without a caution, I don't think he gets into the conversation for the win. Now he might get to a conversation for 3rd with Andrew Little. I don't think he gets any further than that. We'll see. I want to shout out Greg Bourbonnier. Bourbonnier came into the night with a couple of top 5, 7 top 10s on the year and 14 starts. You can add another one to that resume here tonight in the chase and really get his postseason off to a good start. No real other battles on the racetrack except the battle that is brewing for the lead. Ryan Patty has cut 3/10 off of the gap and is trying to run down Harold Watkins with just 50 to go in Music City. Again, getting there is one thing. Passing another Harold Watkins, a defensive master. Truly one of the best in the game when it comes to holding on to the lead. It does have to make it about 14 more laps to make it to that pit window. Drove a little too deep there in turn 1 or perhaps stuck the clutch in. So we'll see which of the two that it is. Ryan Petty way up the racetrack as he gets on scene. Trying to make something work on the high side. A little bit loose, popped the wall. Big hit there for Ryan Patty off the outside safer barrier. 48 to go. Patty versus Watkins potentially for the win here. Little is fading. Matt Hayden is slowly fading away. He was already about 6 seconds back after the cycle. He's now back to 7 seconds back. Bill Gartner comes to pit road on lap 93. For an unscheduled stop. Closing in on the lap 100 mark. Watkins has to make it 10 more laps to make it on just one more pit stop. Ryan Patty has to go a little bit further in terms of staying on his number. He'll likely go about 5 laps further with the 109 or 110 number. So we'll continue to wait and see if Watkins pits before lap 105. We can assume he'll have to make potentially 2 pit stops, and that could be all she wrote. So Ryan Patty, we know, can go a little bit further. Then again, does Patty have enough to get to that number then? If Watkins is well short the 105 number, when does Ryan Patty actually have to pit? $97 on the board, 44 to go. Getting down to the nitty-gritty here at Nashville, and not much going on. A lot of cars in 1 lap down. Steven Rasick, David Traylor, Rusty Modesty, Kevin Gunther, Clinton Woodby, Fisher Graham, all 1 lap down. Bill Gartner is showing as out as of right now. He has apparently parked it on pit road, taking it behind the wall. And indeed that is the case. So unsure what happened to Bill Gartner. He appears to have taken his car behind the retaining wall for the night. And Brian Cunningham currently scored in the last position. That will be Bill Gartner here in a moment. Cunningham is 7 laps down. Patty continuing to maintain about a half a second gap, not letting Watkins get away. And a gaggle of lap cars right here in front of the leader. So potentially a change for the lead coming up here. By the way, Matt Hayden has slowly reeled in Andrew Little. That would be for 3rd. Potentially a good ending to the night for Matt Hayden if he can make up that 3rd spot, get on the podium, and head to Michigan next week 3rd in the points. Patty around the lap car, Fisher Graham. As Watkins starts to feel some dirty air, here comes Ryan Patty. Just 3 car lengths back, make it 4 down the back straightaway. But he is looming. We are 6 laps away from the target lap for Harold Watkins to make it on fuel. 100 on the board, 41 to go. Again, Watkins has to run away from the dirty air, and that's going to allow Ryan Patty to drive right to his back bumper here in just a moment. He is trying everything he can to stay away from him. If he could stay out front till the pit stop, this is going to be very interesting when Watkins does finally come to pit road. Oh, Patty had to lift there off turn 4. Caught the lap car. Walters at a bad spot. And opens up another lead. Again, if Watkins can be out front at the pit stop, this could be a very interesting final cycle. Do either of these guys gamble? Third and 4th have completely driven away, by the way. Top 2 are 7 seconds ahead of 3rd. 4th place Matt Hayden is 11 seconds in front of Greg Bourbon here. Here comes Patty again, back to within 2 car lengths. Gets in some dirty air, has to lift. Brandon Beauchamp, the next on tap. He is a lead lap car. And he's going to go to the bottom. Watkins is going to have to run the top, try to cross over. Patty's going to run all the way up top. And this could be the moment right here. But Watkins is coming to pit road. And that tells me I don't think he's got enough gas. And if that is the case, then it's likely that Ryan Patty may not either. I don't think they're going to have enough either. If 32 is the number, then perhaps we're looking at a pit stop inside 10 to go, a splash of gas and leave. Kind of pit stop potentially for the win. Or some intense fuel saving. Cars on pit road last time. Watkins, Hayden, Beauchamp will pit here. Everybody else staying out. Now, if Patty can make it to lap 110, about 108, then he should be good to go. If he cannot, and it's going to be very close. If he can't make it to 108, he's got the clutch in. I'll tell you, and he did this last week in Charlotte as well. Ryan Patty has been known to gamble before, but that was when he had a 150-point lead. He does not have a 150-point lead tonight. He is gambling with the fuel strategy. He's trying to make it to his number. If he makes it to his number, he'll still have to likely save on that last run. Remember, he pitted around lap 75. Actually, maybe a little earlier than that. More cars on pit road that time. Rothery, Justice, Modesty, Graham all coming to pit road. Matt Hayden has made his pit stop. .108 was the number I had tabbed, knowing that he went to about lap 75 before he came to pit road. If he has to pit before that, it's going to be awfully interesting as to whether or not he's got the gas to make it. And even if he does make it to 108, that even is going to be, it's going to be close. Oh, trouble. Greg Bourbonnier. He and Kevin Gunther pit this time, and Bourbonnier spun it, getting on to pit road. Andrew Little's pitted. He can't do any more. If Patty makes it to 108, this may be the race-winning strategy right here. Catrone, Trailer, Woodby all on pit road. And here comes the leader. This is going to be razor-thin close, ladies and gentlemen. 33 to go, and he went about 32 laps, at least by my numbers. I'm just not positive that's enough. I'll tell you who may have the gas if he goes one extra lap, and this is going to get real interesting. We'll see if he pits right here. He has to bring it off. Well, no. And this is going to get interesting. Cody Eldred is going to gamble here. He'll try to go a couple of more laps. Bring it to pit road. Now, he'll probably lose the lead, but he's gambling that he'll have enough fuel to make it all the way and that the other leaders don't. And it's, again, going to be razor thin on Patty, Watkins, and company. It's going to be really close on Patty. Watkins is a definite no. I mean, they'd have to do some serious saving. Eldred will pit here with just 32 laps to go. 32 is the number for Harold Watkins. He pitted on lap 70 and came in at lap 102. We know that 32 appears to be the number. By the way, Watkins cycled out back in front of Ryan Patty. Keep that in mind as well. Patty can't exactly just sit and save, although unless he knows that it's likely that Watkins can't make it. Now again, if you're Watkins, you wonder what the play is knowing that you can't make it. I just don't think that he can. He put on lap 102. He would have to go 38 laps on his last tank of fuel. I don't see it as being possible. These two battle for the lead for now. 30 laps to go. And it becomes really interesting because now we have the dynamic of Watkins and Hayden, the guys that pit early. Andrew Little was kind of in the middle of those two. Can he save enough to make it? Does Ryan Patty have enough to make it? And if not, is Cody Eldred in the catbird seat for potentially his first win of his career? Off turn 4, battle for the lead. Patty to the inside of Watkins. Patty wants to get to the lead so he can start to save a little bit of gas. Almost contact there in turn 1. Mano for the lead in Nashville. Watkins plays defense, gets up in the marble, side-by-side drag race down the backstretch. Back to turn 3. Patty's almost clear. He'll drive clear into turn 3 and move the regular season champ to the lead. Crossover by Watkins. He's got to lift out of the gas and move Patty to the front. Now fuel is the question. Who's got enough and who doesn't? Well, Eldred's still on the lead lap. That's the other question. He's got to make sure he's got enough time to run down Ryan Patty and pass him while he's on pit road. Ryan Patty continues to lead the way. There's just 26 laps to go in Nashville. And the question now is who's got enough Sunoco fuel? Patty gets to Bourbonnais at a bad spot. It's almost a disaster for all those cars. Patty still ends up in the marbles, so bit of a tough break there, but no harm, no foul for the race lead. It's now who has enough fuel and who doesn't. I'm not convinced that Harold Watkins and Matt Hayden can make it to the end of this race. Judging on the fact they only went 32 laps on their last run, they pit on 102, I don't think they have enough fuel to go the rest of the way. I'm not fully convinced that Andrew Little or Ryan Patty have enough fuel. Now granted, for Little, I think he's about a couple laps short. For Patty, it is razor thin. It's about a lap's difference, which you can typically save under green. He's not doing a lot of saving right now. Again, at the end of the last run is when he did most of his fuel saving a moment ago. Big slide there for Watkins. He loses a ton of ground here. That opens up some distance for Patty to do some fuel saving. I'm not fully convinced that he can make it. I am convinced at this point that Cody Eldred can make it. But the question is, if Patty saves enough to make it, it becomes our main question at this point. Patty, top to bottom, has to jump around the lap cars of Graham and Justice. They're not making it easy on Ryan Patty, certainly, in the closing stages at Nashville. 23 to go at the line. The final moments of the party in Nashville 140. Party in Broadway 140. Patty continues to lead. We'll start to await hearing this car cut off in the corner. Let's go on board with him. Let's see if he's going to clutch in here into turn one. And he is. Cuts the power. You'll hear about 2/3 of the way through the corner. That was actually a lot longer than I thought. He gets back into the throttle. Lets the car start back up. Gets back in the gas. He may do it again here in turn 3. And he does. So this is an onboard look at how fuel saving works in these races. You can throw the clutch in, power the engine off in the middle of the corner, and fire it back up to drive down the straightaway. That's what Patty's doing right now with 21 laps to go. Cody Eldred's not saved a lot yet, but I don't think he has to. He only has to go 32 laps. He should be right on his number. Patty's going to catch Rothery in a tough spot, but no harm, no foul for either driver there. $20 laps to go. Down to it. The question is now, we're waiting on pins and needles. Who has the Sunoco fuel in their tank to make it all the way? Major points implications are in the balance. Already had some shake-ups tonight. David Traylor, a lap down in 12th. In fact, most of the field is one lap down from 6th on back. Now one lap down from Chaz Justice all the way down through Rusty Modesty. Modesty, Woodby, Traylor, Catrone all having issues at some point tonight. Matt Hayden's had a slide through the grass. Ryan Patty's had a slide through the grass. So a lot of the chase drivers have experienced some form of adversity. But if Ryan Patty were to not make it to the end on fuel, this would be the first real major shakeup in this postseason that would have serious implications. Of course, again, Ryan Patty led the points for most of the year, save for the 2 weeks we ran at restrictor plate tracks to start the season. Patty's led most of the rest of the way in points. This will be one of the first times since that he would not be the points leader, but again, it's a long way to go. 17 to go. Now the saving is starting to show up on the time delta. And this is where it can be so tough as a driver, too. especially in the shoes of Harold Watkins. Do you go? Do you hit the go button, go just drive up past him knowing he's saving fuel? Do you just go drive past him, try to maximize your lead, and that way when you pit, you can go full go and be closer to him on the back end if he does run out of fuel? Or do you try to save and make it yourself when the time comes? Cody Eldred is not much further in front of the leader, by the way, only about 3 seconds up from Ryan Patty. Now, I don't think Patty will get there by the time that the checkered flag were to fall. He's not gaining the delta every lap because he's shutting the car off on the entrance to each of the two corners. Watkins has faded in the mirror. And now it's all up to the fuel tank. Who's got enough and who doesn't? $14 to go now. The lead is 1.3 seconds. Greg Bourbonnier drove back past Chaz Justice, by the way. That's for 6th. Greg Bourbonnier certainly been one of the biggest beneficiaries of the misfortune of other chase drivers tonight. He is going to benefit nicely if this sticks for him. 13 to go. Watkins is hyper save all the way back to 2.5 seconds back and in full save mode. I just don't think it's enough. We'll see. In about 7 to go is when I would expect to see Harold Watkins on pit road, unless he really digs into the saving here. In which case he could make it to probably inside of 5 to go. You just can't save as much as you may think under the green flag and keep up any pace. Eldred is just again 3 seconds up the road from the leader, Ryan Patty. Now, he does have a couple of cars between him and the leader, but he is only 3 seconds up. So potentially is he starting to save? As Ryan Patty hit the go button. What's the last lap time for Ryan Patty, you ask? 29.98. Patty's hit the go button. So either he knows he can't make it and he's just trying to maximize his time, making sure Cody Eldred can't win the race, or he knows he can make it, he's gotten to his number, and he has put the burners on to try to run away and finish this one off. Off turn 4. 10 laps to go at Nashville. In the opener, the chase. That lap by for Patty, 30.26, so he's taking the pace back off again. Matt Hayden has been full go most of the run, 30.01 last time for him, although that time he was a 30.59. It'll be single digits next time by. I would anticipate that Harold Watkins would, if he were to make a pit stop, it'd be in the next 5 laps. 9 to go. Patty continues to lead, 30.06, so closer to race pace. Watkins a 30.4. He's in full save. Hayden a 30.27. Coming back to 8 laps to go. Patty's still got the car off in the corners, though. Pops the wall. No harm, no foul. 8 laps to go. He's still got the car turned off in the corners. Let's go back on board with him. He's still got the car powered off. So is he good on his number? What about Watkins? Let's take a ride on board with the second place driver. You're on board with Harold Watkins, the Hurricane. He's really not saving much at all. Maybe in terms of lifting, but he's not putting the clutch in like Ryan Patty's doing. What about Andrew Little? Lifting out early, but again, no full save. Ryan Patty It's the only car powering the car off going into the corner. 6 laps to go at the line. Still 2.7 seconds between Eldred and Ryan Patty. That is the two to watch that are the closest on fuel. Watkins pits. And to me, with only 6 to go, that's still a long way. Does Ryan Patty have enough? Oh boy. It's earlier than I thought with the saving that Watkins appeared to be doing. Harold Rothery's on pit road. Matt Hayden is on pit road. It is a 6-second buffer back to Andrew Little for Ryan Patty. He could really back the pace up here, but you don't want to. If he knows he's going to have to pit, you'd rather keep as much distance between you and Cody Eldred as possible, because all Patty's going to have to come down pit road and do is splash fuel. He's got to hope that Eldred does not make up the time on pit road that Patty would spend there. Back to turn 3. At the line, it's 4 laps to go. Now, if Patty can't make it and he pits earlier than the white flag, which is coming to the white flag, is when I anticipate that Patty would get close enough on fuel to come down pit road. If he can't make it further to that point, then Eldred, I don't think he's got enough either. And then who knows? Greg Bourbonier is still ahead of Harold Watkins. Does he have enough gas? Does Andrew Little have enough gas? Coming back to 3 laps to go. Patty is saving for all he's worth. The gas really not moving, but both of those cars have to save. 3 to go. Patty's only got to make it about 4 more miles. Off turn 2 and down the back straightaway. It's been a dominant night for the points leader and the regular season champion. Can he finish it off? Does he have a couple more drops of fuel? Popsicle sticks at the line from Barney the Flagman. 2 laps to go. Patty's out! Patty's run out of fuel! Either he's run out or he's let cars go to save. Did it sputter right there? I thought for sure he was out of gas. Has he run out in turn 1? Patty's incredibly slow. Andrew Little is closing in. 4.5 seconds. Patty has really backed it off. Back to turn 3. He can't give up too much. Off turn 4. White flag in the air this time by. Can Patty make it all the way around? 1 to go in Nashville. He's very slow. Andrew Little's on the way. Little's just now into turn 1. Still a pretty good buffer for Ryan Patty. He's trying to coast it around. 2 seconds. 1.7. 1.3. Fisher Graham almost a crash right behind the leader. Off turn 4. Andrew Little going to get close, but it's no cigar. He stretches the fuel, and he somehow wins again. Ryan Patty, unstoppable. He dominates, wins, and survives at Nashville. By 0.5 seconds, a 6-second lead disintegrates in the final 3 laps. And he had just enough fuel. He may not even have enough to do a burnout. Tell you, with 2 to go, I thought for sure he had run out. He had slowed way up to let a couple of cars go and back the pace down. Instead, it ends in a win for the driver of the Fast House Chevy. Well, he did have enough for a burnout at the end of the day, and Ryan Patty completes another victory tonight in Nashville. Let's go through the finishing results. We'll talk to the man in victory lane along with both of the other podium finishers tonight, including Cody Eldred, who, by the way, that's a really impressive run for him as well. But Ryan Patty survives and finds another way to win. It's the 7th win of the season for the driver of the Fast House Chevy. The regular season champ will take the points lead right on with him to Michigan next week. Andrew Little finishes second, a great run for him. It almost was a win. If he'd had about another 500 feet, it would have been a victory for Andrew Little tonight, but he'll gladly take second after the night that some of the chase drivers had. Cody Eldred third. That's really impressive for him. Again, almost had the race-winning strategy. Probably needed a couple more laps there. Greg Bourbonier, fourth. How about that for the Miller Lite Camry? I said if he could get back to a top 5, it'd be really impressive. He does just that. He'll leave fourth in points headed to Michigan next week. Harold Watkins finishes in the 5th spot. It's going to be a little disappointing. It's going to bite just a little for Harold Watkins to not be second in the points headed on from here. But, again, salvage something out of having to pit late in the race. Chaz Justice finishes 6th. Great run for him in the 67 machine. Matt Hayden in the 7th spot. James Catrone in 8th. Ron Walters with a top 10 in 9th. David Traylor does manage to salvage a top 10 in 10th despite the slow start and the pit road penalty. He finishes in the 10th spot. Harold Rothery finishes 11th with Rusty Modesty in 12th. Kevin Gunther 13th. Brandon Beauchamp 14th. And Fisher Graham in 15th in his debut. Clinton Woodby finishes 16th with Brian Cunningham 17th. Stephen Rasick 18th. And Bill Gartner in 19th. We'll start to talk to the drivers on the podium. Who better to start with than the man in victory lane, the Boston, Massachusetts native Ryan Patty, as he finds the extra point, if you will, with his 7th win of the season tonight in Nashville. Another dominant one, although at the end it got a little bit interesting. We'll talk to him about that and where he goes from here after a win in Music City. Ryan, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, another trip to victory lane, and for a moment it looked like it was going to be a dominant one. Then with 2 laps to go, it starts to go awry a little bit. Was that planned? Was that, trying to salvage the last couple laps of gas out of the car? Kind of take me through, what almost was not a victory for you tonight here in Nashville.
Yeah, it's so hard to be accurate with the fuel calculations in these cars. NASCAR obviously limits you on the data that you can view while you're driving. So trying to calculate while racing Harold for the lead is ridiculously hard. So thankfully had enough to make it to the end there. I couldn't tell if Harold was going to be saving at the same time as I was. So there's a lot to concentrate on that whole last long run, but thankfully it worked out in the end there, and just barely had enough coming across there with a little bit extra. I actually had more at the finish than I thought I would, but I was just pedaling it to be safe there, watching the gap between me and Little.
Well, look, obviously a regular season champion this year, but the points zeroed out coming into Nashville tonight. How much pressure did you feel? How stressful was it knowing that your point lead that you had worked all season for was gone? You came in all zeroed out. How much pressure did you feel coming into tonight to not only have a good run, but maximize your points day, knowing that everyone was back on the same playing field?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, when it resets, and I know everyone kind of finds another gear when you get to the playoffs here or the chase. So I was expecting what happened. I qualified 5th. Definitely wasn't the fastest car in short run speed. I'm sure some of these guys were putting in some practice over the last week, making sure that they were ready for this race. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't quite sure what would happen. I was obviously pleased at the beginning to be able to get the lead there early on. Obviously didn't mean to make contact getting by. I think it was Catrone there. I'll go back and take a look at that. Hopefully that was just incidental. But, yeah, I mean, clean air is real important here. Wanted to try to get out there as fast as I could and just lead some laps. And thankfully it worked out. But honestly, coming into this race, I had no idea if I was going to be able to lead, run 5th, or struggle all night. Because another thing that I'm not sure how aware of it you were from practice to the race, but this thing was sideways loose in practice because the track was so much hotter. And then once we shifted to the night race, the car tightened up a ton. So very, very different from practice to the race today, and that was, I think, a curveball for everybody.
Well, on to Michigan from here. As we know now, you'll leave with the points lead, so continue to be first in points headed on to the Irish Hills next week. kind of take me through where you go from here. You've gotten off to a great start in the chase. How do you keep that momentum going next week as you work towards the championship in Sonoma?
Yeah, Michigan's a blast. That's a track built for NASCAR. I mean, it's really matches up well with this car, so it should be a lot of fun for everyone. A bit of drafting, a bit of finesse. You probably don't use the brake too much there, depending on how the setup feels. And I don't know if they're running 110% horsepower or not, but it should be a lot of fun. And I've always been able to run well there, so looking forward to it. And the only peril that happens, especially in this car with the way the aerodynamics work, is that it bunches folks up in the short run. So got to be careful there. Make sure we don't get caught up in a wreck or get put in a wall by someone trying to clear themselves too early. But if we can avoid that, we'll probably be looking at a pretty solid finish next week.
Another victory for you, your 7th of this first season of 2026, and the first of the chase as well. So before we let you go and prepare for the race in the Irish Hills next week, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you again for putting on a show here. It's great to have you in the booth every week. You want to say thanks to all the guys that put this league on. It's not only a blast on the track every week. The chatter in the Discord and everything else that goes on behind the scenes is a lot of fun to be a part of. So I really appreciate them. Just making this environment available for everyone to come out and race. And for those that are maybe interested, check out Challenger Racing. It's a really fun group to be a part of. And then before I pop off, just always say I love you to my wife, and thanks for all the support.
Well, Ryan, congrats on the win tonight in Nashville. Thanks for your time. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you in the Irish Hills of Michigan next week.
All right, we'll see you there, Dawson.
Ryan Patty, winner tonight from Nashville, his 7th victory of 2026 in Challenger Cup Series competition. Let's move down to the man who finished in the 2nd spot and was about 500 feet from winning here for one of the first times in 2026. Actually, what would have been his first win of the season. If he had another 500 feet, we'd be talking to him in victory lane. It did not quite pan out for him the way that he wanted, but nonetheless, it's exactly what the doctor ordered. For the driver of the Waterford Concept Chevy, Andrew Little, he comes home 2nd in this opener of the chase in Nashville. Andrew, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
I got you loud and clear, bud.
Well, a bit of a wild one at the end there. A clean one after the stage break, but the fuel numbers come into play just a little bit. Coming off turn 4, you can see Ryan Patty. You know he's slow. Kind of take me through what's going through your mind when you cross the line. You know you needed just a little bit more room or another lap, and you would have had a victory. Just take me through the overall, the mindset, the reaction as you come across the line 2nd tonight.
Well, I done messed up because I could have won this race, except I had my fuel calculator. I had the wrong box checked, and so for probably 5 or so extra laps, I was saving fuel when I didn't need to, and I finished with nearly an extra lap of fuel. So basically, because I didn't check the right box in my black box, I thought I was going to be short, and then I looked down on the back straightaway and I'm like, oh, and I clicked the box and I was good to go, and I ended up with a lap extra of fuel. So you can probably imagine over a 35 lap fuel run where I probably gave up the half a second differential there just based on not running to what I actually needed to run to. So it was my fault. I should have won this race.
Well, nonetheless, it's what the doctor ordered. 2nd place for you tonight. You'll leave 2nd in the points, headed to Michigan next week. So, kind of take me through how important it was to open the chase on the right foot to get a good finish tonight as we look forward to the next 4 races in this postseason.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan's really fast and consistent. Harold's fast too. He's really we got David is a good competitor, David Trailer, and Michigan's kind of a wild card. So I mean, I really felt like I left something on the table here, to be perfectly honest with you. Like this type of stuff where it chews the tire and you've got to kind of make a little bit of fuel. That is usually a good quote unquote bread and butter situation for me, and I didn't capitalize. Like I thought I was gonna at one point in time at least get a point for leading the lap, but Ryan did just as good a job of saving fuel, and if maybe even a little bit better because of the pace that he was able to run. But hey, in the end, it's pretty good to come out with a clean race, some good stage points, and we're only 23 points back. You don't want to start off that far back, but it is what it is, and we'll just go out there and try to get more stage points and maybe go for a sneaky win in the next couple of weeks.
Tonight, second place for you in Nashville, obviously leaving with a really good points position headed into Michigan next week in the Irish Hills. Before we let you go and start to get prepped for that race next Tuesday night, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Oh, thanks to the family upstairs. Hopefully I didn't make any too loud of noise wherever and didn't wake anybody up. You're doing a great job once again here, Dawson. So thanks for joining with us. And J-Dub, our race control, once again calling making some quick and fair calls when he can. And if anybody wants to, thanks to Waterford Concepts. If you guys need any CAD design support or 3D printing support, reach out to us at www.waterfordconcepts.com.
Andrew, thanks for the time. Congrats on the second place run tonight in Nashville. We will see you next week in the Irish Hills for race 2 of the Chase.
Yep. Thanks, bud. Have a good one.
Andrew Little in the 68. Second tonight for him in Nashville. We'll move down to the man on the final step of the podium. And it was almost meant to be for Cody Eldred to get another few laps. I think we would have been talking about a trip to victory lane, a long-awaited trip to victory lane for Cody Eldred in the 14. But tonight, third place. You'll take that. Headed forward to Michigan next week. It'll be in a great points position. It's got to be a good run for him, a good motivator head into the rest of this chase for the Challenger Cup. We'll see what he's got to say about it. Talk about his chances next week in the Irish Hills as well. Cody, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Well, not too bad. Look, a chaotic one in terms of fuel at the end. You go the extra lap on that last pit stop, and it looked like it had set up pretty well for you. The top two and Watkins and Patty start to save. Watkins has to pit. All of a sudden, it looks like it's panning out. Kind of take me through your reaction to a third-place finish. Obviously, a couple more laps, we probably would have been talking about a different result. I still have to imagine, though, third place got to feel pretty good for you.
Yeah, it feels good. I had to spin on the front stretch right after my second out of the third pit, I think. So I lost about 20 seconds there, so it would have been super interesting if I did not screw that up, how it panned out, because I was running fuel conservative right from the get-go on the stage because the numbers were crunching in my favor if the race went green. But yeah, I'm happy with the third. I thought I really screwed the top 5 with that spin, but it all cycled out into my favor, and I actually led a lap while I was in the pits, so I got an extra point for the chase. So overall, a good day, and I'm super excited about this P3.
Well, now we head to Michigan from here, the second race of the chase next week. We've heard some things about the car changing a little bit with a new update. Obviously, we'll get to that when we get to it next week in Michigan, but I want to talk about your chances next week. Obviously, a really good points day tonight in terms of opening your chase on the right foot. How do you feel about your chances next week in Michigan in the second race of the postseason?
I hope I keep this momentum going. Michigan is a momentum track and tire saving, and I seem to be pretty good at tire saving. It's just other things I need to work on and to get a good momentum to keep going through this chase. And hopefully I have something to give to Ryan at the end of this if we can get all our eggs in a basket, or my ducks in a row, and don't throw all my eggs into one basket.
Well, third for you tonight in Nashville. That's got to be what the doctor ordered as we head forward from here and move on to Michigan. Before we let you go, though, do want to give you an opportunity. Who would you like to thank or shout out after this third place finish?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out you guys at PGR eSports. You do a fantastic job. Always love listening to the broadcast the next day while I'm at work. But on the hood, I got old school coins, bullion, silver, and gold. Sells a bunch of cool stuff over there. Fraternal Outdoors podcast, a couple podcasts on Spotify. Found a Way Outdoors. Guy's got a lot going for him. He's got a lot of different product. He's got mounts. He's got turkey calls. Turkeys down in almost all 50 states with his calls. Neuroscape Motorsports, safety equipment when you're racing in real life. And Black Forest Racing, follow them on Facebook and Instagram. They got a lot of cool stuff going through their shop, and they post about it.
Well, Cody, thanks for the time. Congratulations on a third-place run for you tonight in Nashville. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you in the Irish Hills next week for the second race of the Chase.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Cody Eldred, one of his best runs of the season tonight in race 1 of the Chase for the Challenger Cup. And that's going to start to wrap things up tonight from Nashville Super Speedway as Ryan Patty continues his celebration over on the front stretch. And we will start to wind things down here tonight from Nashville. In a wild one, a chaotic one at the end with the fuel numbers going all over the place. At the end of the day, the cream still rises to the top. And Ryan Patty survives to win at Nashville and leave with a pretty sizable points lead headed forward to Michigan from here in his quest for his first Challenger Cup Series championship. Take you through what's to come for the week ahead, both myself and for PGR eSports. Tomorrow night's the Moonshiners Racing League and its GMD Janitorial Cup Series as it makes a stop here in Music City and Nashville past the midway point of the season. It's been a fun one so far. Looking forward to being back on the call tomorrow night with the Moonshiners boys on Wednesday. Check that one out over on Precision Entertainment. Thursday night, the PGR eSports Intimidator Super Speedway Series is back this week as well, or rather, it is not back this week. It'll be an off week this week for the series as it prepares for the Next Gen Mini Championship Series coming up starting next week, June 11th, with a race in Daytona. So Thursday is wide open. Friday night, the Midnight Racing League's Contender Series, along with the Dega Pros and Stars and Stripes Shootout Series coming to you live as well. A couple of things over the weekend as well. Some McCullough Motorsports Racing coming to you as well on PGR eSports. Next Monday, the PGR Light Series presented by SimRatMarket.com continues on with race 2 of the postseason. It was an exciting one last night in the trucks at Daytona. And the O'Reilly cars head to Atlanta next Monday night. That'll be a fun one. It's a fun combo to race. It's a fun combo to watch. Looking forward to that one. Michael Triscaro likely to be on the call for that one next Monday night as the Light Series continues its quest to find its champion in that series as well. And then we are back next Tuesday night here on PGR eSports for Race 2, the Challenger Cup Series Chase for the Cup from the Irish Hills of Brooklyn, Michigan, and Michigan International Speedway. Looking forward to being there. Again, some changes to the car this week. Car track combo. I have heard to the grapevine that potentially it is a lot of on-throttle time, very high speeds, draft-based racing next week, so it should be very interesting. Heard to get called a wild card there. Very big potential that is the case headed to next week, and that could shake some things up in terms of postseason. Also want to mention the 2 Tuesday leagues. The Venom Truck Series continues to be on right now with Michael Triscaro. The Grindstone Developments Racing Series with Austin Green as well. Looking forward to all of that, but till then, we're going to have to bid you farewell until next Tuesday night from Michigan International Speedway. We're looking forward to it. Hope you all are as well. A wild one tonight in Nashville. Congratulations to Ryan Patty on his 7th victory of the season as he takes the points lead to the Irish Hills and up to the north of the United States. We'll see you next week for Michigan for Race 2 as the Chase the Challenger Cup continues. Be back here at 8:30 next Tuesday on PGR eSports for more action. Until then, my name's Dawson Wines. You've been watching coverage of the Challenger Racing League and its Challenger Cup Series here from Nashville Super Speedway. Till then, have a great week.